It is always advisable to pay attention to what is going on when a dashboard warning light illuminates. You might not have much time left before the car dies to solve the battery light issue. For this reason, you should identify the cause of the battery light while operating a vehicle. We go over the top 7 causes of this warning light in this guide, especially when driving. We will also advise you on what to do when it activates. It's the Car Problems YouTube channel. Subscribe, and let's get started. Broken or slipping alternator belt. Along with other accessories, the alternator is powered by the serpentine belt. When properly cared for, it should typically last 50 to 100,000 miles. There will be issues operating the alternator if the serpentine belt starts to slip or fails. Additionally, this issue produces a squealing sound, particularly in cold weather. In addition, lights may start to flicker or dim, and if the battery completely dies, the engine may stall. Bad alternator pulley. The alternator pulley is encircled by the serpentine belt as it winds its way between the different parts. Damage or failure of the pulley can lead to numerous problems with the belt, which in turn causes problems with the alternator. A broken belt could be the first indication that something is wrong with the pulley. You will notice some damage if the belt is catching on the pulley or wearing down on it. Upon inspection, you might also find that the pulley has physical damage. In addition to strange noises and burning smells, you should be on the lookout for the classic symptoms of a dead car battery: faulty or worn alternator. While the engine is running, the alternator is in charge of charging the vehicle's battery. The battery won't get the power it needs if the alternator is malfunctioning. It shouldn't need to be replaced very frequently. A failing alternator will exhibit several symptoms, such as dimmed headlights and broken electrical equipment. You will have a dead car battery if it is not fixed right away. Wiring. The car battery receives power from the alternator, but it needs the right wiring and connections for voltage to flow through to function. The signals will be disrupted and the battery won't get the necessary charge if the wiring ages or becomes damaged. You'll be left with a dead car battery in the end. The battery light will also illuminate due to this problem, alerting you that the battery is not charging. Battery terminal corrosion. Even when a battery is in good condition, there are situations when it cannot be charged. If corrosion accumulates on the terminals, the alternator's voltage will be insufficient to fully charge the battery. The collision of hydrogen gas with air leads to corrosion. It is identified by the white or green material that is present on the connectors and around the terminals. That being said, you should avoid touching it due to its strong caustic nature. In a few minutes, we will talk more about how to address this issue. Bad battery. There's always a chance that the automobile battery is the source of the issue. The light will turn on, and the alternator will no longer be able to charge the battery if it gets too low. An automobile battery typically lasts 3 to 5 years. We advise having the car battery inspected regularly to make sure everything is in working order, particularly before winter when the low temperatures can be harsh on frail batteries. Bad engine ground strap. The connection between the vehicle's body and the battery's negative terminal is known as the engine ground strap. Known by many as the negative battery cable, it is essential to maintaining the vehicle's electrical system. There may be flickering headlights, dashboard warning lights, and issues with battery charging if the ground strap is not fastened securely. Low voltage, trouble starting the vehicle, and strange electrical system malfunctions can also result from it. How to fix? It is advisable to stop the car in a secure area as soon as the battery warning light appears to diagnose the system. Driving is not advised because there is always a chance that the alternator or battery will die. Once you've located a location to examine the car, remember these useful pointers. Measure charging voltage. While the engine is still running, you want to use your multimeter to measure the battery's voltage. The battery voltage ought to be 12.6 volts when the engine is off. That figure should be higher though because the alternator should be able to supply more voltage when the engine is operating. 13.5 to 14.5 volts would be a typical reading. Anything below or above this suggests that the alternator isn't working properly. Check the alternator and belt. The environment, heat, abrasion, and oil can all be detrimental to the serpentine belt. Not only that, but if you look for it, you can see visible damage left behind as the pulley begins to wear against the belt. After the belt reaches 5,000 miles, it should be routinely checked. Replace the belt if there are any indications of wear or damage. Before a belt breaks, it's crucial to replace any that have splits, cracks, or fraying. Indicators that the belt is glazed on the sides can also be looked for. The belt may slip, crack, or overheat if it gets glazed. Note how the new belt fits back on if you intend to replace it yourself. Under the hood of the car or in the service manual should be a diagram. Check the wiring. It is imperative to conduct a visual examination of the wiring. To check for damage, you can follow the wiring from the battery to the alternator. It's critical to replace any damaged wires as soon as you discover them. Don't forget to check the connectors that hold the wiring in place. Check the battery. Never undervalue the significance of routinely checking your car's battery. When the engine is off, you can use a multimeter to make sure the battery voltage is 12.6 volts. Many auto parts stores offer free battery testing if you don't want to check the battery at home. If you buy the new battery through them, a lot of these locations will also install it for free. Inspect engine ground and battery terminal corrosion. Use these procedures to test the ground connection. Set the voltmeter to read ohms. Examine the ground connection and negative terminal. The resistance of the ground connection is good if the reading is less than 5 ohms. To check the voltage, set the voltmeter to DC. The voltage shouldn't increase above 0.5 volts when the accessories are on. You either need to add a bonding strap or find a new grounding location if there is a voltage-producing area. You can lubricate the posts with battery terminal grease to stop corrosion. You can easily find it at auto parts stores. Contact professional. It is best to consult an expert if any of these steps seem too difficult for you to complete, given your level of experience. Many people have caused additional harm to the charging system by tampering with objects that shouldn't be touched, as we have witnessed. Furthermore, there are a few small risks involved in servicing the car's alternator and battery. You should avoid doing this unless you are ready to take all required safety precautions because you are dealing with voltage.